This is Transformice, the MMO platformer about a bunch of mice just trying to get to the cheese. It's completely free on Steam, so let's just get going. Launch the game and we get this little box. This is where all the magic happens. I'm signing in as a guest because I'm not so keen on appearing on a bunch of mouse-related mailing lists. And we are immediately thrown into a tutorial, where Professor Mouse over here teaches us all we need to know. Move with the arrow keys, jump with up. On our right is the meaning of life for every aspiring mouse, the cheese. Once we've acquired the cheese, we must make our way back to the safety of our mouse hole. And when we do so, we get the foreboding message, "Congratulations, you just earned a cheese. Be prepared to play with many other players." All of a sudden, I am shown a sadistic sight. I'm waiting on the sidelines for my turn at the cheese, and as I wait, I see a bunch of my fellow mice struggling up a hill as bombs rain down over them. The culprit, this dripped out shaman mouse down here. And this is the premise of the game. At the start of every round, all the bright-eyed mice are forced to navigate a stage, making their way to the beloved cheese. But one such mouse is gifted the role of the shaman. The success and failures of the mouse collective rides on the whims of the powerful shaman who can create entities, power-ups, and obstacles. On my first ever go-around, I flail about like a newborn, completely oblivious to the spring power-up that the other mice are using to boost up to the cheese. Seeing my struggle, the powerful shaman takes pity on me and spawns another just for me. But in a sadistic twist, before I can return to the safety of my mouse hole, the powerful shaman casts a powerful ice cube spell, ensuring my demise. On my second run, the forces of good and evil clash as two shamans duel it out for supremacy. Unfortunately for us all, the evil shaman wins out and begins eliminating each mouse one at a time. He even goes as far as flaming in the chat. It gets pretty heated out here in Transformice. Sometimes the biggest danger is the level itself, like with this weight-sensitive bridge, which our benevolent shaman holds together with this itty-bitty beam that violently strains under its intense load. Which brings me to the game's physics system, which is one of its key features. Here our shaman tries to engineer some sort of elevator, which despite complete structural collapse, manages to avoid any outright casualties. Eventually, what I thought was an elevator actually turns out to be a spring, and we get launched to the floating cheese overhead. And while the physics are truly impressive, I don't think they're quite that polished. Sometimes you get ambushed with unique levels like this one, where you have to take the cheese off another player, but just like all the other levels, sometimes you just gotta resign yourself to your own circumstances. But if you think that's all that this game's got to offer, you're sorely mistaken. Because by clicking down here, you can travel to the other modes. Any second now. Maybe from the menu. Ah, of course, the shop still works. Transformice is a completely free-to-play game, but of course the devs gotta get their cheese somehow. And that is done through cute little accessories. You can change into other animal mice, like this zebra mouse here. But of course, I don't have much myself, so I just settle for this cute little carrot. Unfortunately, when I close down the shop, the frozen game state still hasn't resolved itself, so I gotta restart, and because I'm on a guest account, the carrot's gotta go too. But okay, load it up and get back out there. One of my favorite things is barging into a room in progress that is just utter chaos and trying to make sense of it. With there being so many random mice thrown into each level, sometimes not everyone is willing to cooperate, like this AFK mouse here. Luckily, the shamans all have inconspicuous heart powers to deal with them. Though sometimes there are more stylish ways to pull off a mass execution. And after getting unwillingly ripped from one lobby to another, we witness another unfortunate event. Not every level has a powerful shaman, meaning that ill-intentioned mice can simply wait out the clock and hold everyone hostage. On the other hand, sometimes all the power is given to the shaman, like in this box puzzle where the shaman must shepherd his flock to the cheese and to the mouse hole, this time electing to use a gaming classic, the orange to blue portal. This level is straight out of the hit game Chained Together, where all mice are bound to one another. But unfortunately for me, neither me nor my partner are well prepared, and my partner hurls us into the void below. And then my game connection breaks, meaning another restart, which prompts an incorrect game version, meaning another restart. But let's check out some of the other game modes. Village is touted as the classic chat room mode of the MMO, where you can hang out with your friends. I also love how the background image just kind of bleeds out of the UI. And to complete the lived-in town experience, there's even a random beggar asking people for free stuff. On to the other game modes. Survival is a mode which pits mice against each other, challenging them to survive a malevolent shaman. Unfortunately for me, I get knocked out pretty early, and have to watch the shaman fight a losing dodgeball battle against 3 mice in particular, since he doesn't seem too worried about all the rest. Also, there's a mouse that goes Super Saiyan right next to him that he can't seem to affect. I'm not really sure what that's about. Next up we have Defilante, which is a sliding map where you gotta keep up or get run over by the edge of the screen. And again, after missing a spring jump, I'm left to watch in horror as the slowly approaching wall brings closer my impending doom. The next round I actually do a pretty good job, even avoiding the precarious skull power-up, which I don't need to gather to actually figure out. One more crash later and we're back to the game. But before I click off to explore the other game modes, I am completely entranced by the display going on in front of me. A bunch of mice in a goofy car slowly rolling off a cliff with no bridge in sight, which the shaman actually saves. But the bridge doesn't hold up too well. Last but not least, we have Race, which is exactly what it sounds like. Be among the first mice to make it to the cheese through any and all obstacles. Unfortunately, I am not quite well practiced in the Transformice movement, and I get stuck on the upward incline, ending my run. Transformice is like Fall Guys meets Death Run meets The Prisoner's Dilemma. You're never really in control of your destiny, the other people are usually out to get you, but it's always going to be good fun.